This is our garden seen through our security camera. The camera is activated by motion or sound, during the day and during the night, together with the wind blowing the vegetation or the umbrella. And occasionally rain or the noise it makes can activate the camera too. We've seen one curious thing, which I'm not really sure I can explain. It occurred on fireworks night in 2021, and you'll see it on the left-hand side of the screen a few seconds after the clip starts playing. Now, did you see it there? The first time I saw it, it really spooked me. And again? Yeah, there again. Let's slow the clip down and increase the contrast. There's a kind of variable V-shaped luminescence in the middle upper part of the screen, and quite a lot of diffuse light all around. Then you see the shadow advance from the back of the garden to the front of the garden. Rolling the clip backwards and forwards makes the shadow or whatever it is look quite discreet, especially towards the front of the garden. It looks more diffuse at the rear and kind of granulated when it's against the back wall. The V-shaped luminescence looks like lens flare, and whatever caused that may have activated the camera. The lens flare is still there just before the shadow appears. The shadow appears as a series of dots on the back wall. Let's zoom in and look at them in a bit more detail. The frame before the shadow appears, and there's the shadow as a series of dots, upping the contrast on the image, and you can see they seem to correspond to the leaves on the creeper on the back wall. In the next frame, the shadow seems to move further into the garden, seeming to move across the back wall and also to reflect off the leaves of the small tree on the left. Then, looking further into the garden, the shadow seems to move further forward into the garden, down the shrubs on the left-hand side. As it moves closer to the camera, the shadow seems to become more discreet, before finally disappearing underneath the camera. The shadow seems to have its own shadows, as indicated by the arrows. Again, rolling the clip backwards and forwards, the shadow seems to go from diffuse to discrete and describes an S-shaped path. I'm not sure what the shadow is. I don't think it's falling firework debris because it's too diffuse. I don't think it's an eddy of fireworks smoke because of the curious S-shaped course the shadow takes. Likely it's some light-based effect from the fireworks in the sky above our house, or someone shining a light into our garden. Perhaps the shadow only appears as such because of the wavelength sensitivity of the camera. I'm sure there's a logical explanation and that someone has it, because the alternative is a bit too spooky for my liking.